Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get, my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. To go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup, or you can have it delivered to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Hey everybody, John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. So happy to be with you today. We always like to start our show off by talking about what it means to be a warrior. And a warrior is a brave or experienced soldier or fighter. And if you pay attention to the auras, really you don't have to be brave and you don't have to be a soldier. You just have to be an experienced fighter. Well, what does that mean? It means you've had something in your life occur that you had to fight your way through. Could be anything. Could be sickness. Could be growing up in a bad household. Could be something that has to do with work. I mean, anything. And if you're experienced in that way, then you get to be a warrior. And the important part about being a warrior is just having the mindset. A warrior mindset means that you don't give up until the job is done, until the mission is complete, until the task is over. So when something comes at you, you're fully prepared to take it on regardless of what it is. And the difference between that and what a lot of people do nowadays in our world is people are so quick to give up when things get hard because life itself isn't worth the reward anymore. At least that's how people look at it. And you can blame a lot of things for that. You can blame social media. You can blame scrolling. You can blame YouTube. All of these videos, all of these things, like a lot of our world runs by the second. Dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit. And it's almost anxiety driving. People, I can't tell you how many people I talk to on a daily basis. Well, my anxiety. Well, my anxiety. Well, my anxiety. And it's like, why does everybody have anxiety now? And I truly don't believe it's a buzzword like some people say. I think everybody has it. And I think when you're so stimulated, it's almost like being on drugs. And that's what's happening to people. So why would you work hard, or why would you not give up on something when you could just sit and scroll otherwise? And I talk to people about this in regards to learning like our daughter is learning a new instrument, people who do jujitsu. Like when these things are hard, the reward at the end of that feels similar to the reward at the end of eating an entire pizza, cake, and scrolling for 30 minutes. The problem is what you accomplish with what I just said is nothing except for ruin your life and make yourself sick. And what you accomplish with the other tasks actually builds your character and allows you to be more successful in other areas. Use the warrior mindset to accomplish what's standing in front of you, because most times anxiety is simply fear of something that hasn't happened and looping on the fact that it could. So we procrastinate that with all of this other garbage and live in a state of fear rather than just handling what it is we need to handle. And so if you can get to a place where you say, okay, I'm going to look at this task, I'm going to go straight at it, I'm going to hammer through it until I'm done with it, that's the only way success is guaranteed. And I went to a naval captain as a therapist for a while, a long time ago, when I was completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I had been to other people before, and they would try to calm me down. John, you need to work on your peace levels. You need to woo-saw. It's going to help you. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you right now, the way you're talking is going to get you punched in the face. Like, I am not wired like that. Debbie one night had me listen to a audio thing that was supposed to help with sleep. This dude's telling you how to breathe in, breathe out, rest your calm. And I was like, I gotta go. I literally, my adrenaline hit. I had to get out of bed. I was like, you need to turn that off. And she's like, half asleep, like, what? And so then I had to go downstairs. I had to work. I was punching a heavy bag. I mean, I was not okay because I'm wired different. So this therapist was like, John, you're not wired like that. And he goes, in fact, a lot of people have a wiring like that inside of them and they don't realize it. And so what happens is they repress that because they don't realize that that's actually what's going to cause them to accomplish tasks. He's like, you've spent your whole life building this physical warrior. Okay. You've built this big, strong physical warrior that can fight. He goes, but the problem is your spirit warrior is a baby. Your spirit warrior wears diapers. He goes, the way you're going to actually accomplish tasks. Now listen, guys, I know this is long-winded, but the way you're going to be a warrior is to get in your spirit. You have to get in your spirit, because if your spirit is strong, your mind and body will follow. So if you strengthen the spirit and you look at these tasks, all of a sudden you see David versus Goliath. All of a sudden you see looking for the promised land. All of a sudden you see Moses parting the Red Sea. I mean, Noah building the ark. These giant things start to look a little smaller, okay, than what it is you're dealing with. But if you're sitting in a place where you're just kind of like, yeah, no, I mean, this is hard, I don't know if I can overcome this, then you're probably right. You have to change your mindset. And all it really takes, I hate when people are like, it's that simple, like just do it. All it really takes, though, is setting your mind to this concept that failure isn't an option and forcing yourself to get up off the wall and get up off your back to continue to fight.
I think fighting from your back is, or fighting off your back is a very challenging way to fight. I saw this quote the other day, and it was 100% not going to be exact, but it was from Elon Musk, and I would have looked it up ahead of time, but what you were talking about just kind of prompted me to think about it. And it was just talking about entrepreneurship, what it truly takes to be successful. Obviously, he's done some things in his life causing him to be successful, right? And so he can speak on it a little bit more than I can. But he basically said that it takes an incredible, unbelievably measurable level of pain tolerance. And what he means by pain is extreme levels of pain, like imagining yourself being tortured Okay, but yet still getting up and speaking the name of Jesus, even though you're being tortured for the name of Jesus. But getting knocked down every day of your life and having something click to where you wake up the next day and say, I'm willing to try again. I'm willing to get knocked down again. I'm willing to literally lose a few teeth today. I'm willing to be beaten and bloodied and go home and put some ice on it. I'm willing to put the Band-Aids on it. I'm willing to spray the Bactine in it. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, right, to make it to where I can wake up the next day and fight again. I will always say, when John and I talk about things, I always say, live to fight another day. And he's so right, but that doesn't have to just be entrepreneurship. It could be your marriage. It could be your relationship with your child. It could be something that you're believing God for. And the world allows us to give up so easily on things because there are so many people that'll tell you life is too short. This is too hard. Life doesn't have to be this difficult. Just quit. Just go get a job somewhere. Just quit your marriage. Just get a divorce. You'll meet someone better. Don't worry about, your child that's not serving God. Just go ahead and allow them, to continue to do the things that they're doing. You don't have to hold them to that high of a standard. No, you can't give up on those standards. You can't give up on that spouse. You made a vow. Okay. You can't give up on that business. If God gave you that business and God gave you that vision for that business, then you can't give up on it because he hasn't given up on it. He hasn't given up on your marriage. He hasn't given up on your child. And you are the one as a parent that is expected to raise that child up in a godly manner. So you have to do the right thing, right?
I'll tell you what, you talk about entrepreneurship. I have been knocked out cold. I've been punched in my face. I have been put to naps and sleep by grown men who are choking me, and I wake up and didn't realize they laid me down for a nap. I have been in shooting situations, stabbed. It's like I've had a lot of things happen, and I can tell you that I would take all of those again over owning my own business. Now, I would not trade this for the world, okay? But what I'm telling you is I remember back then being like, when I get out of police work and I'm not being talked bad to anymore, and people aren't trying to get in my face, and I'm not having to slam people and put them in handcuffs, like, this is going to be a cakewalk. I was wrong.
Right.
It's actually substantially harder. And what I realized is my mental warrior isn't as strong as my physical warrior, and my spiritual warrior wasn't either. Now we're getting there. But what am I telling you guys? Yeah, maybe you're not an entrepreneur like Debbie said, but if you're going into anything that you're not used to, you're stepping out of what you're used to sitting in, you're doing the same thing. When it's an unknown and it's something new, it doesn't mean it's just because you're opening your own business. It means you're leaving your familiarity. Perhaps it's even changing your food to try to make yourself healthy, and your circle's telling you that you're an idiot and you don't need to do that, and what's wrong with you. And then your friends are not even wanting to hang out with you anymore because you're not the cool bro that just drank beer with them all the time. That's hard. There's a lot of hardness out in the world right now. And I really think the best way to try to overcome, to be a warrior, is to listen to your commander, which is Christ, and get around like-minded individuals that go to war with you.
For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with a 6-month nutrition program with myself or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We just finished up our segment about what it means to be a warrior and what the definition of a warrior is. And I just want to continue talking about it a hair more because I really, guys, like, I know that life is hard out there. We've got a situation going on with our daughter where I've had to do some research about different types of schools, and it's kind of alarming. Like, I had an idea of public school and private school and some of the statistics of girls, and I remember growing up that girls were worse than boys as far as like late middle school, high school, like cattiness, like boys, we usually just beat each other up or something, but I remember that. I remember it being bad, but like now it is way worse, and text messaging and like these constant like group threads and, going to school and someone's like, "Do you hear what Sarah or so-and-so said about you?" And it's like, it's horrible. It's horrible. But I was looking at these statistics, and I'm going to totally fudge and make these numbers up now. So when you Google them, you're like, "John, you were wrong." Just recognize that I'm making them up. But it was kind of crazy. It was like 60% of them have like extreme depression or anxiety. 40% of them have thoughts of self-harm. And 20% of them, it's like that kind of ratio, have thoughts of suicide. And that's in public and private school. They're almost identical. So it's not like going to a Christian public or private school makes it that much better. And that's through like the CDC, the NHERI, and a couple other like governmental studies. It's not like some random person that took 40 people's opinion. And so I'm like, holy cow, what's the point in saying all that, John? Our kids are suffering too. Like, our world right now is tough. Okay. So you have to be tough. We've heard all these motivational statements. Like, it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get up. Like, a wise man said that. I think it was Rocky. But, it's like, it's like, he's pretty wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, he beat Apollo. He beat Drago. Like, this ain't somebody, like, he's a big deal. Okay.
Some stuff.
And so what I'll say is, being willing to get up and fight another day is what's actually going to help you to get through life. And what's fascinating is if you get up, you actually get to enjoy your day. You just have to decide to. What do I mean by that? If you stay constantly beaten down by what you're dealing with, I hate my 9-to-5 grind. Thank God it's Friday. Here's another Monday. Like, if that's how you live your life, you're constantly looking at the next thing you don't think you can beat. You're constantly looking at the next negative loop. You're not like, church was good today. And listen, I get caught in this too. You're not like, what a great afternoon with my wife and daughter. Instead, you're like, I got a crap load to do tomorrow. I got a blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing, guys. The Bible says don't worry about the troubles of tomorrow because today has enough of its own. And it's not saying get hung up on today's trouble. It's saying just get stuff done today. And it's also not saying to not be prepared for tomorrow. That's not what it's saying. It's saying don't be hung up on the troubles. And if you think about what fear is, which creates anxiety, anxiety is just a threat of fear. Like I said, if you get hung up on that, you might not actually see that come to pass. You are thinking about things that you may never actually have to deal with, but you have to be willing to get back up. We have this girl that comes to our gym. She's actually a jiu-jitsu instructor. She's a black belt. You know who I'm talking about, Debbie, little bitty person. Okay, so she's grown up in our gym. The original professor who I became friends with actually brought her and a couple of his employees over to train at our gym. And so I'm working out the other day with my workout partner, and we're standing there, and she randomly out of nowhere just jumps up and tries to hit me in the shoulder with her shoulder. Like, she straight up like comes at me, and she bounced off me and fell on the ground, and I wasn't ready for it. So my workout partner is like, looks at her, and I've got this puzzled look, and he's like, what just happened? And I'm like, did you just try to attack me? And she popped up real quick. She was like, well, did you feel attacked? And I'm like, no. She's like, well, then I didn't try to attack you. And so she sits on the bench, and my workout partner's like, are you okay? And she's like, I did kind of hurt my ankle. And so it's kind of funny. The joke is she jokingly attacked me. Okay. She's like a little sister to me. And she's like, well, I'll get you next time. And the moral of this joke, the moral of the story is like, listen, If you see something that you think is bigger than you, if you see something that you're not sure that you can take on in life, if you see something that you get knocked down by and you just think, you know what, I'm not going to do that again, that giving up actually goes into the rest of your life. And I cannot remember who I was just talking to, but gosh darn it, we were talking about, I do remember. It was Mike Stout, my friend and trainer, and he was talking about the little things, the small details. And he said, I believe success and improvement is in the small details. I believe it's those little things that we let go, and it causes the larger things to not actually go the way we want them to. And I said, absolutely. You know, they say the devil's in the details. If you let the little details go, the details, the small things, that's your foundation. The big things, the things you're trying to accomplish, the things you're trying to overcome, the things that actually quote unquote mean something to you in life, they are built on the small things foundation, and cracks in your foundation will crumble your empire. And so what you have to think about is if you're letting those little details go, then everything else you're trying to build is going to fall apart.
Absolutely. Definitely. Yeah.
Sorry, Deb. I just kind of was on a roll there.
That's good.
You know,
that's great.
I was just firing off. And then I was like, hey, you want to say something? You know, I just was looking at you like, what you got?
As far as the foundation, you know, as far as the little things, when it comes to your food, for example.
Oh, yeah.
People, you know, I don't have enough time to talk about this. So
Let's do it next segment.
No, it's okay. We don't have to do it next segment. I'm just going to throw it out there, though, as the little things. A little bit of poison goes a long way. And so a little bit of bad ingredients in your food, a little bit of the chocolate, a little bit of the soda, a little bit of the sauce, a little bit of something can completely throw off a good flow, a process that you've been in where you've been doing well and your brain's been going well, your heart blood pressure's been going well, your blood sugar's been going well, your skin's been doing well, your pain in your body's been doing well, but a little bit changes a lot. So the details matter, the ingredients matter. The amount of sugar matters. The amount of caffeine matters.
Absolutely.
The preservatives matter. The MSG matters. Those little details can make or break if you ever optimize your health. You might just always stay in this foggy state. You might just always stay in this bloated state. You might always stay in this state of consistent inflammation and pain. You may always stay in an anxious state or a depressed state, all because of those little details and what you allow in your daily food. It really makes a difference. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with a 6-month nutrition program with myself or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We ended the last segment talking about details of food. I want to talk about a little bit just details of details. I heard this said once, and it's so funny because it was so profound to me, but it's not profound. And it said, everybody says the devil is in the details. Like, we've all heard that. The devil's in the details. But the profound statement that I got was God's in the details. And I remember just being like, this light bulb went off in my head. And it's like, okay, all they did was say God instead of devil. But when you think about it, it's true. When you're attempting to accomplish something, the Bible says to follow in Jesus, follow in God's footsteps, one step at a time sometimes. And so it's like, if you're looking for this big mega picture, this giant, colossal, this thing, when David defeated Goliath, he already had his sling. He already had it with him. So sometimes there's a preparation period. There's things that have occurred to get you to where you are, and you have to acknowledge that little detail is what's going to help me to overcome this. Or I might be missing a small detail, or I might be skipping the small detail. Procrastination is for sure a small detail. Like if you find yourself putting things off regularly, again, I wanted to talk further about like anxiety and depression is rampant right now. And I think it's Grant Cardone. He said, idle time is the breeding ground of anxiety and depression, or free time, something like that. And what he's trying to say is not that you shouldn't take time to yourself to rest, relax, and recover. He's saying that time is being created through procrastination or not accomplishing something. Because what happens is, even if it's subconsciously, you know that there's something that has to be done that isn't being done. And I just believe so many people are letting the small things go. They're letting thinking about what's it going to take to do this, what's it going to take to this. And it's almost like we live in this weird world where people are pretending things aren't happening. It's like you have a situation and then you pretend it doesn't happen until you think about it for a second. You get extremely anxious and then you bury it again and try to continue to pretend like it doesn't happen versus just confronting the issue and overcoming it. And I sincerely think that when you add in the idea, like Deb said last segment about food, if you're walking around foggy, bogged down, and feeling like garbage, it's hard to even pay attention to those little details. We talked to our daughter about that. Like when you're eating bad food, she had a situation where she fell into bad food a few years ago, and she said she quit hearing from God. Like, I don't feel like I have that. It's like, well, if you're walking around in a dense fog, it's going to be really hard to see the sun. And so sometimes you have to recognize that you're actually putting yourself at a disadvantage of being successful by what you're putting in your body or what environment you're putting yourself in.
I think the thing is that sometimes you have to just ask yourself, like, why are you so willing to eat the foods? Like, why do you want the food so bad? Like, you're willing to go to war to be able to have something that is sincerely poisoning your body. And so there's so many messengers out there, so many influencers out there that's like, don't do the restriction thing. Don't be, you want to be able to have this, and this. You should be able to have this. Have you looked at the ingredient list on those items? Do you have any idea what those ingredients do to your body? If you have an immune condition, if you have a thyroid condition, if you have depression, if you have anxiety, and you've had those ingredients, you don't understand. You're going to remain on the meds. And the biggest reason why you need the medications is because these ingredients in your food are acting like medications, and they're causing the anxiety. They're causing the depression. If you had never been depressed a day in your life, and all of a sudden you're in your 20s and you find that you're depressed all the time, but you've been living on your own, and you notice you're eating a lot more fast food, you're eating a lot more potato chips, you're eating a lot more chocolate, a lot more ice cream, a lot more cookies, a lot more garbage, and you're drinking a lot more alcohol, and now you have to get on an antidepressant. What if we just change your food? Well, that's too hard. Life's too short. I don't want to live without those things. I can't live without those things. Are you sure? Because I don't think you're living right now, because you're going to be on an antidepressant in order to be able to live, so that you can have all these foods, so that they can keep increasing the antidepressant, so that you can ultimately at some point be on insulin. Then you can be on something to lower your cholesterol. Then you can be on something that's going to change your brain, which is going to, long-term, the cholesterol lowering medication. Then you can be on something to lower your blood pressure, all because you want to live. You want to live a little. You want to be able to have some things sometimes. You're taking a medicine for pain in your body, but the oils that you eat and the sugar that you eat regularly is creating that pain in the body. It's an idol, and it is an incredible use of the enemy. He wants you to be so attached to it. He wants to create a community around the cheat meals, around making the cheat meals okay. He wants everyone on Instagram to think it's okay. And you're the odd man out if you're trying to feed your kids real food, whole food. You're the odd man out if you're unwilling to eat those foods at that party. No, you're not. You're not living. You're not living when you're doing this. You're actually in the process of dying, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about with the details of the food. A small poison is still a poison. You're killing yourself slowly, not just your body. Your mind and spirit are murdered by that as well. And if you're like, okay, John, that's a little extreme. All I did was put this sauce on this and this dressing on this. And, you know, on the weekends, I just had a little bit of that. Yeah, well, why are you telling me you keep having to do it?
One thing leads to another.
Correct.
And that one thing, it's the little thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's what we're talking about.
It's just in that moment, what you have to understand is it's the craziest thing. It sounds so crazy to believe that this is actually possible. But that one ingredient has the ability to shift your brain so much, especially if the ingredient is a food dye. If it's an overload of sugar and the sugar is combined with a bunch of bad oils or a bunch of preservatives or a bunch of fake ingredients like BHT that you don't even know what it is, what it means, you can't pronounce it. I'm telling you guys, it seems like it's not that big of a deal, but then you come home and you have an argument with your spouse. You come home and you don't want to wake up the next day. You come home and you don't feel good. You're not inspired. You're not doing as good at work. Things are changing. And you end up going to your doctor and you end up telling them all that's happening. And the doctor doesn't run your blood work for your brain. The doctor doesn't run urine test for your brain. And the doctor doesn't run a saliva test for your brain. All three ways of checking your neurotransmitters. And yet somehow they come to a conclusion that you need a medication that could impact your serotonin, or it could impact your GABA, or it could impact your dopamine. Let me tell you, I went on that merry-go-round with my husband 10 years ago because of traumatic brain injury. Oh, let's just try this medication. Oh, really? What's the basis of giving him that medication? What have you tested that tells you that that medication is the right thing? Because when I take him home and I put him on it, and he becomes 10 times worse because of it, and then I got to try to take him off of it, I'm the one going through it. He's the one going through it. And all of the people that he influenced in life and the call that he has from God on his life is all impacted by that decision as well. Getting put on a medication just because you come into an office and you tell a doctor that you're feeling unmotivated and down. When we had my husband's brain scanned, it's the GABA receptor. It's where his GABA receptor is located, that he has brain damage in that area from being hit in the head. Do you know that none of those medications were helping any of that? However, one of the medications was actually making it worse. It was literally making it worse. And you know what they gave him at the Amen Clinic? GABA. They gave him GABA, and he turned into a different human being. But you know what made it worse? Gluten, sugar, dairy. Still to this day, even with the GABA, will make it worse. Food dyes.
Well, and that's the thing is with the GABA, like I'm medicated at a baseline. Like I used to have to take a medication because of my traumatic brain injuries. My brain actually lacks the ability to produce that. So that's a perfect place for a medication to make sense. The problem is in the past when I was medicated on a basis of being often on my food, putting myself in a different position like that regularly. And it's like, what's your baseline? Like how many variables are in your system that you're adding another variable in the form of medication? You have to get to a base, and then that's where you determine if there's medication required or not. Because if you're eating garbage one day and then you're fine the next day and you're like, well, I'm trying to stay clean, I'm trying to do this, and you're medicated at any of those levels, like this thing of being healthy, it takes a little bit of work to feel well. It takes a little bit of work to be successful. And so many people sit around in their own garbage like this, and they look at other people and they think, well, that must be nice. And it's like, you have to get yourself together. Like quit comparing yourself to other people. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Can you be better? Can you get yourself out of some garbage like eating bad food or having to drink on the weekends? Well, I don't drink Monday through Friday. I only drink on Saturday and Sunday, or I don't drink Sunday through Thursday. I only get hammered Friday night and I only drink Saturday, or only have one glass of red wine a night or a little bit of chocolate. It's like when you put yourself in a position where you have to ask yourself, what is that actually doing for you? And if you're like, well, it's a release, it calms me down. Well, you're medicating yourself. You're using those drinks or that food as medication. Guilty as charged. I love when people are like, well, must be nice. You totally understand that. And you don't do it. Yeah, well, I was an alcoholic and I had a heart attack in my 20s because I did it wrong. So go ahead and try to tell me I don't understand that food's an addiction, okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I was addicted to painkillers. I was addicted to Xanax. I drank way more alcohol. I don't know how my liver's okay. And I ate bad food. And do you know the only thing I miss and the only thing I trip up and falter on and ever go back to is bad food? And it's justifiable because it's just food, right? Like we all got to eat. And so like, it's not like I'm doing something that bad. I've been in Florida before where we would like to stay. It's our favorite place on earth. It's the only place we vacation. We get people all the time. You have to try going here. You have to try going there. You go to this different place. We don't want to because we love it there. And it's calm for us. And we had a trip a couple years ago that we went on, and I decided that I was going to eat a Caesar salad every day. I took the croutons off, but I kept the dressing. I kept the cheese, and I was going to have a small piece of fudge at night every day. I did that for 3 days. On the fourth day, in the most beautiful place that there is that I love to be at, never want to go anywhere else, in this bright white room, flowy curtains, beautiful, laying in a white bed, I did not want to get out of bed. I spent the entire day in bed. I told Debbie I didn't want to go to the beach. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do anything. I just want to stay in the bed. And really, I just wanted to go home. I didn't want to be there anymore. And so I wasted an entire day in paradise for what? Some Caesar dressing, cheese, and fudge. It's not worth it, guys. Don't put yourself in a position where you're actually missing out on life because you, quote, unquote, deserve this little food or this little drink.
That's not living. It's not living. You think it's living, but it's not. You're not living optimized. You're not living better. You're sinking your ship. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with a 6-month nutrition program, you can take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or to schedule a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers. Take a look or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Kind of got a little bit fired up last segment, just talking about how you can poison yourself with food and ruin your life, essentially. Put yourself in a position where you don't actually get to live. And it's always fascinating because that's what people say when they're talking about eating bad food or drinking is, well, my friends are saying, it's like, I just want to live a little. And it's like, well, how about live a little longer? Like, why don't you put yourself in a place where you actually get to, like, have a better quality of life? And that's what I train for now. I did a YouTube. I did a social media.
Chick cut.
You know what? Yeah. You know what, Deb? You need to calm down. Okay. You need to calm down.
Okay.
I did it. Listen, I got a concussion last week and I'm still not right. I'm talking.
I can tell,
I'm talking a little funny. My speech, I've even noticed the last week is slurring a little bit. Like I got a little bit of a lisp to me, but you know what?
That is not
We're good with it. I do have a little bit, listen to me. Okay. All right.
I don't listen to you.
I listen to you a lot. Okay. All right. I don't even remember what I was saying.
You don't even know what you're saying.
You totally threw me off my game there.
Sorry, honey.
And now I don't even remember.
I love you.
I love you too. No, you're not. You're just laughing at me. You're actually
we
can't see it.
We're talking about just optimizing.
They can't see it, but you're like pointing at me.
I am not doing that.
Guys, she just kicked me in the shin.
I did not
like
do that.
You are a mean person. One day people are gonna find out what you do to me behind closed doors. Okay, they're gonna come to know like that you. I mean, I come home and it's rough. Okay. All right. Okay. Not really.
Whatever.
All right. Yeah. And no, that's a bad rule to run off of.
Yeah.
What I was saying though is that when you put yourself in a position where you think you got to live a little because you have bad food or you have bad drink, that's how you're going to live a little. I'm training right now to play with people that don't even exist, people that aren't even alive. My daughter's 14, and I want to play with her kids. And I'll tell you what, if I could see their kids, that's pretty awesome. So if my daughter has kids at 24, which I suspect she'll have them around that time, a little bit younger, 'cause she's so motherly, that's 10 years from now. I'm 40. That'll make me 50. By the time that they need to be played with and they're running around on the floor, that's another 4 years. That's 54. Okay. If I'm going to wait till that baby's maybe 24, 30 to have a kid, 74, 79. I want to know that I can play with my grandkids and potentially hold my great grandkids. And I am not going to get there eating or drinking the way I used to, taking medications the way I used to. They put me on a medication at one point because I'm such a dangerous person. And when I'm in this weird state of anxiety, depression, psychosis, that it literally took every edge off me. I remember Debbie being like, I want my husband back. He's just a zombie. And they put me on this because they sincerely thought I needed it. And there's so many of you listening right now that you're just on the wrong stuff because you've not learned how to actually feed yourself or how to be spiritually fed, to have discernment and to understand what your baseline is. What is your base level? If you're eating fast food 3 to 4 times a week and then basically not eating once or twice a week, like, you really need to check. Like, I go through a gallon of Mountain Dew a day. Like, I mean, that Mountain Dew might be why you're on Xanax. It's like, but I just want to live a little. I love my Mountain Dew. Okay, but you like to pop the Xanax 2 or 3 times a day and yo-yo through your entire day and talk about how you can't overcome your crippling panic? Like, just listen, guys. Listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're doing. Track yourself. Make a notebook. I have a client at one point, I had him make 2 notebooks. And one of them was, this is what a day is like and what I go through when I don't have bad food and how I feel. And the other notebook was, this is what I feel like. This is what I go through when I do have bad food and how I feel. And if that depression, anxiety, or upsetness or whatever it is continues even into the next day, you have to continue to write that even into the next day, even if you eat clean. You have to write, I did eat clean today, but I'm still dealing with this. The next time he decides that he wants to eat bad food and he wants to see, like, okay, well, how did I feel last time? Flip back. It's been 8 weeks. It wasn't that bad, right? Like, I didn't feel that bad 8 weeks ago when I ate that bad food. Open up the journal, depressed today, this today, this today. I've got one client right now. I mean, he's been suicidal before. It's extreme. And when he eats his food clean, he doesn't get that way. Doesn't get into arguments with his kids. Doesn't get upset as his wife. And guess what? He still struggles to eat clean because food is an addiction. And so he knows it. Like, he'll have these situations, blow up, whatever it is. He'll feel terrible. It really upsets him. He feels bad for failing and letting himself get to that position. He feels bad for what happened. He tries to be better, and he is better. He's definitely getting like longer gaps of time between these situations. But you know what? He gets around his old crew, or he gets around something, or he ends up somewhere where he's not prepared, and he defaults back to what he remembers in his subconscious as loving. I mean, we talked about this before. I bring it up a lot when you talk about the Israelites looking for the promised land, right? What do they want to do? They're meandering enough that they decide they want to go back to slavery because they liked the food they ate there. It's like, you're going to go back to bondage. You're going to die in chains, being literally labored to death at a young age because you missed the food. Like, people are doing that every day. You are a slave to your food, and you are working that 9 to 5 that you absolutely hate, and you can't even comprehend how to make sure you have a good day because the bondage of the food has you locked down. And we don't have time for it today, but I have on the show before talked about putting into ChatGPT what it would do to take over the world if it was Satan. And the first thing it fired off about was controlling people through food.
I have seen this, like, we have to factor in that this would be 27 years of doing this. I have seen this go both ways. Okay, so I really have a lot of experience in watching this from both angles, from a different lens. I have watched a person transform their life with food, get promotion, improve their relationship with their spouse, really have a quality relationship with their kids, still enjoy their food. Learn how to make cakes, learn how to make cookies, learn how to make brownies, still that are all in a very healthy fashion, and still controlling those and having those on special occasions, not every day. And learning that alcohol really doesn't serve them and that they're not better because of that. I've watched this for years transform people, and they're not the same. And they remove all their medications, and they don't really even see the doctor anymore other than once a year when they get a physical. They're in a loving relationship. They're in a different life. And then I have worked with people that are tortured by food. They won't pay attention to the little details. They keep the foods that are causing them to ultimately be just completely riddled with pain, with brain issues, with gut issues, just consistent skin issues, consistent allergies. And they're not the same with their spouse. They're not proud of who they are with their children. They're not really doing a great job at their job. Everything's just very subpar, and they're very foggy, and they really are not even happy with their life. And they're still even Christian people. Like, they know what's happening at the end of this whole thing, right? But they're still just struggling that much. I've watched it go both ways for 27 years. And the reason I get as fired up as I do is because I really want you to do it the first way. I want you to do it the way that I told you really produces change, because it's incredible to see what can happen. And I also feel for kingdom purpose that God wants you to do it that way. He wants you to steward your body. He wants you to care for your body. He wants you to control what you put in your body, because then you serve him stronger. That message is real. Okay, it's an act of obedience to him when you're stewarding your body. But I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I've watched it both ways. And I'm telling you, every ounce of energy you put towards becoming healthy and optimizing yourself will be worth it. There will be a payoff for it. There are people that can help you with it. There are people that will get in the fight with you. It is never, ever, ever not going to be worth your time and not worth your money. I can assure you of it.
Yeah, I just think that you have to be willing to do hard things to get to a better place in life. And a lot of people just want to give up and stay stuck in what it is that they're stuck in. And it's sad. You know, you've become comfortable in your discomfort, and it's just going to take going into a new discomfort to actually get to a better place.
Amen. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with a 6-month nutrition program with myself, or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. Thank you all for listening, and God bless.